This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, a Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo.
Ahoy, hoy.
Heidi, hi.
Hello. And it's another episode of Newbie versus Weeaboo.
Woohoo!
I never know how to start these things. Past hello, it's like, now what?
Yeah, it's like, we did it again. It's like, well, I assumed we would.
Well, we finally got to our final episode, which was much quicker than Evangelion.
Yes,
Far
definitely.
quicker. It's like half the series, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 12 eps.
But we're at the final episode, and that is for the series we have been watching, which is Puella Magi Madoka Magica. And episode 12 is called My Very Best Friend. It's all about friendship.
Yeah.
As most magical girl programs are.
Yes.
They've finally got to the crux of the genre.
Yeah, it's about the power of friendship.
And hope. Hope and friendship.
Yes.
Yes, this was I prefer this ending to Evangelion. It feels like an ending.
Yes. I mean, it feels like the magical equivalent of End of Evangelion. When I was rewatching it, I was like, holy moly, they're similar. Like, especially with, like, you got the whole Tree of Life type motif appearing in the sky, and you've got, like, the transformation into a new body, and it even has some, like, weird, weary, alternate, like, visual animations going on, and you're just like, all we need is a song about, like, everything ending, and we would have been like, I mean, we still got a bit of a song, but it's the one we were used to. But yeah, I was like, they're really similar endings. No wonder I like them both so much.
They are, but this one was a bit easier to watch. It wasn't so sciencey and...
Well, yes.
And not repeating the same message over and over again.
Yes.
We got it 3 episodes ago.
It's like, come on, Shinji, get over yourself, get in the robot, just do your thing.
It just shows how much more mature Madoka is, but then she's a more stable person than Shinji. She grew up with the happy home and the nice mother and father and going to school and had all the friends. So a little bit of it just shows you that if you nurture someone, they get to the point quicker.
Yes, they get in the robot or get in the magical girl.
Get in the magical girl.
Yeah.
Make the damn wish. Okay, so it opens with Madoka looking at the witch on Apocalypse Day. So we're starting where we ended in the last episode. And it's another poster moment because it's all black and white, apart from the witch who's all like rainbow now. And then Madoka stood there with Kyubey, and it's like, I want that as a poster. That is an amazing picture. Beautiful. No explanation, just some weird stuff going on in a picture. We find out that actually Madoka hasn't made this wish yet.
Yeah.
So from the last episode where we're saying dub versus sub of you didn't and don't do it, who won? I can't remember who said what.
I thought she already made the wish. The thing with the Japanese version, it's meant to have given you the thought that she's already made it. So you're like, she's already made the wish. What could it be? And then this one clarifies it. So it gives you that kind of like, oh my goodness. As opposed to like, she hasn't done it yet. You don't have quite the same high level of like, oh, the intention is different between the dub and the sub.
Again, it kind of feels like sometimes that they dumb it down for the Western audience and not make it so poetic and nice sounding rather than, just getting straight to the point because, you need to understand what's going on here. Dumb down the whimsy. Madoka says that she wants to be a magical girl and she knows what to wish for. And at this point, she's very calm and her head is on right. She's thinking straight, as opposed to all this of her being the ditzy, when she threw away Sayaka's soul stone because she didn't know how else to help her. And, she's always just panicking, going, no, don't do it. Oh, no, help her. Yeah. Like from all that, she's now gone back to the Madoka that we saw from the very first timeline where she was like confident and happy and she knew exactly what to do. So there's been a change in her personality from deciding like she knows what she has to do. Humura protests, obviously, saying if she does this, it contradicts everything that she's done up until this point. Because, she's been trying to save her this whole time and she's just thrown herself into chaos and madness. And obviously, from what Humura's seen, it never works. Yeah. She always dies. But the difference in this one is that Madoka has all the facts. she knows everything now. So she can tailor her wish to help everything rather than whatever she originally wished for. Madoka comforts her and assures her that she knows what she's doing. And Kyubey tells Madoka that now that she's such an important part in the universe, anything she wishes for can come true. So it doesn't matter how out there, how impossible it may seem, she can wish for it and it most likely will happen. And he asks for her wish. So she takes a deep breath and says that she wants to erase all witches before they are born. All the witches in the universe, both past and future. Although in the dub it says past, present and future. Surely that means all witches. We don't need present. Again, making it clear for the Westerners. All witches, not just the past and the future, but now as well.
I don't know why they need to add that. It's as if like they think, Westerners are a bit, dumb. It's like, oh no, that's silly.
Maybe they have a word quote or something. I don't know. But the soul gem is created. And Kyubey says that the wish could unravel the fabric of time. It violates the laws of karmic destiny. And he asks if she's trying to become a god. And this is the most emotion we've had out of Kyubey in the entire thing. For something that's emotionless, he says it with a kind of panic and concern.
Yeah.
Which are those emotions? Is concern an emotion? Or is it just a reaction?
I think it's maybe a reaction, because you can be concerned about something, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're feeling. If you want something to happen, and you think it's not going to be happen, even if you're not emotional, that thing that needs to happen still needs to happen for a reason. So Kyubey is concerned because there's a belief that by erasing all the witches will erase obviously this power supply that keeps the universe going and will unravel everything he's done and the universe as he knows it. So I think he can be concerned.
And it also baffles me that I don't understand why Madoka didn't ask for her to never become a witch as well. Because obviously the way that she's doing it, she's taking on all the curses and stuff, which will ultimately make her become a witch. But if she doesn't become a witch, then she can carry on doing her job. So I don't understand why she didn't add that into the wish.
Because she becomes a god. It plays out by the end. Like, you see why she doesn't stop herself as well.
But yeah, so Madoka, all she wants is for all the magical girls to stop suffering and to be at peace. If it messes with the timeline, then she'll just rewrite it. She's like, I'll deal with that. That's fine. Like, they just want these girls to stop suffering. There's a flash of light and we get the title, but with no music. So Puella Magi Madoka Magica, but it's just kind of like these kind of sound effects, like a vast desert or something.
Yeah,
of nothing.
That quite calm.
We cut to Madoka having tea and cake with Mammy. Ah.
Oh, that cake looks so good every time I see it.
The buttercream.
Oh. The fact that it's triple layered, like it's just like, it's not just two sponges on top, it's like sponge cream.
Num num.
I know. I pay far too much attention to that piece of cake. It's weird.
It was delicious cake. But Mammy voices her concerns with what Madoka has taken on for herself. So we're not really sure at this point if it's a flashback or if it's just like a cosmic thing that's happening. But we just know that Madoka is talking to Mammy. Mammy says that Madoka will live through time being an entity, spending her life fighting witches and dying, and that dying would be kinder rather than having that fate. However, that's kind of what magical girls are doing anyways, just that she won't be a witch by the end of it.
Yeah.
They spend their lives fighting witches and then die. So, you know.
But no difference I suppose the difference is it's only like Madoka will be the only like the entity that will exist forever, doing this like cursed destiny forever. There's no ending. There's no final piece. But
at this point, they don't know that, do they? They just think that she's going out killing witches because they can't predict what's going to happen in the future.
Well, I always assume that this scene is kind of like in the realm of the cosmic, where the alternative timelines, the past, the present, the future, all kind of converge, and she can get that reaffirmation from others before everything's remade. So this is like a cosmic joining point. So they kind of like know what will happen to her afterwards and how she is like signed her fate to being a goddess that will use up her existence fighting witches.
Well, Madoka's fine with this. She's fine because of hope. She's like, it's hope that keeps her going. And again, it's that whole magical girl storyline of hope will get us through. Kyoko appears, which is nice. Of course, there's food, so why would she not be there? And she's saying that she agrees with Madoka, and Mami gives her sketchbook back. So the little book that she's drew her magical girl outfit in, she's like, well, now you need this back because now she's a magical girl. Mami says that Madoka is not just giving hope, but she is hope for all magical girls. Magical girl transformation!
Yay!
And at last, Madoka has become a magical girl officially, not in some stupid alternative timeline. In our timeline, she is a magical girl. And we are back at the apocalypse. Madoka fires this awesome rose bow that she's got. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So good. And she fires it up into the atmos, and it kind of hits, like you said, the Tree of Life symbol thing. And then arrows rain down over the earth. Everything starts to get colour again and starts to go calm. But instead of a grief seed, we see a girl turn back from a witch into a magical girl. Now, I thought at first that this was the witch that they're fighting, but it would seem that it's not, because the witch is still going after this bit. What was that?
That's the witch. She was having a happy old time. She's just like floating in the sky going, I'm having a lovely time. Mental.
Exactly. So this magical girl was some different witch, or...
Well, a different girl that was about to turn into a witch.
Yes. But yeah, she falls. She's lying on the ground. She's clearly in emotional pain because her soul gem is still tainted. But Madoka arrives, and she takes all the darkness from the gem, and then the gem itself, and she just leaves the girl, and the girl dies in peace. So she can now carry on into the afterlife with no curse, no despair, nothing. She's at peace with herself, and that's what Madoka wants. She wants all the magical girls to just go with no regret, no hatred, because they don't deserve that. They go around trying to save lives, and they end up with the worst thing ever. So,
becoming the thing they're fighting against.
Yes, so Madoka's trying to right that wrong.
Yeah, she's rewriting fate and destiny for all the magical girls.
Well, this leads on to a montage of all the magical girls being set free from their curses. And she's doing it it looks as if she did it just before they turn into witches. So they never get to that point. They never have to live through being a witch, which is like concentrated hate. And it kind of makes her look as if like she's the angel of death. Yes. Because she's giving these girls peace and sending them off to the afterlife or whatever happens to magical girls afterwards. So, she's like, that's what she is. Now, here's my question. If she's stopping girls from becoming witches, then there's nothing to purify their soul gems. So they're doomed anyway, because if they're fighting, then their soul gems are getting darker and darker, but there's no witch to purify it.
Yeah.
However, if there are no witches to taint them in the first place, the pure magical girls who aren't tainted will now live with no purpose, but will still be alive. So is there something else that can taint them other than just witches?
You see at the end, because she rewrites existence.
Oh, no, I know that, but I'm talking about this timeline.
Yeah, but she's in the process of
righting all those wrongs.
Yeah, because you've got to think, Kibe said that she's going to turn into a god, and they're saying, like, you'll just... So... And he says that, like, if this wish comes true, you will, like, rewrite the timeline, you'll rewrite the universe. So this is the process of the universe being rewritten. So she's going to each magical girl, and so you assume that by erasing the grief out of the soul gem before they become a witch means obviously there's no grief seeds to purify. So there's no grief seeds, so you probably get tainted quicker, but she's taking that away and then using that to obviously remake the universe, and there's something will always come to take its place because things need to be balanced. You can't just have happy magical girls without karmic destiny.
So there's enough magical girls throughout history to get her to the point of becoming a god.
Yeah.
Back to Apocalypse Day, and the witch is disintegrating. Madoka says there's no need for her to hate anymore, as she will go back and take those feelings for her. Now, I want to know what the witch turns into, because obviously to be a really powerful witch, you need to be a really powerful magical girl. So who was this magical girl who became this, unbeatable witch? We don't find out.
No,
but
I'd love
really
to
want
know.
to know.
I'm hoping it's answered in the movies because it's the one question that I've got left over. I'm like, who turned into that witch? I've got like theories, but
Because Kubo was saying that other than like royalties, like princesses and queens and things, they tend to be the ones who are more powerful because of their karmic destiny or whatever.
yeah.
And Madoka was a irregularity in that way because she's just a regular girl. So why is she so powerful in comparison to all these higher ups? So that makes me think that this witch was some sort of leader.
Well, my theory, which is just a theory because there's no proof for it, is that the witch is Homura.
Okay.
Just because of what you see at the end.
Yep, no, that does make sense because also they would say that Madoka was so powerful because of Homura going back and forth in time.
Yeah.
And Homura is the one who's doing the back and forth in time. So there's more Homuras than anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does make sense.
And then towards the end, you see all the strings of fate that were wrapped around Madoka are all focused on Homura.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be. Ooh, that'll be interesting to find out if it's in the film. One of the films.
It's like 7 hours of like. So the films actually work out pretty much the same amount of time as the series, I think.
So the witch explodes and Homura wakes in a vast void. So there's nothing. And Kyubey says that this is the universe reordering itself due to Madoka's actions. Homura can see it due to her time travel. So she can see it because she's been time traveling. She's got that power to be able to be anywhere at any time. And Kyubey asks if she would like to see Madoka's end. It's like, oh, not really, but
it's like,
curiosity.
Thanks, Kyubey. You know how to lighten the mood.
They see a very large rainbow meteor with black clouds, and this is Madoka. So she has now taken on all the girls' curses. Every curse in history that was made is now this big ball of hate and envy and all the sins. Her power is now so great that she will create a new universe. However, this will also destroy one too. Heavy. The meteor turns into a witch. It's like over the planet Earth. And all the curses start to dance around the planet. So it's like, yay, we've got you now, planet Earth. Homura doesn't want to watch, but Madoka appears and says that she wished to erase all witches, which this includes her own despair. So she has to destroy her own witch. And when we see Madoka, she has matured so much. Like she's gone from the cutesy little Lolita pink princess outfit to like a long angel-esque gown. Her hair's still in bunches, but you know, you've got to have something to represent yourself.
It definitely reminds me of like Sailor Moon transformations, and when she's like, her princess form from the future, it's very magical girl. You always get like, and now she's in her princess form, and it's like a beautiful destiny form. It almost looks like gorgeous wedding dresses and things like that, and it's beautiful.
No, she does look beautiful. She fires her arrow, causing a huge explosion. And then Madoka is now floating upside down in space. And Kyubey tells her, due to her wish, her life has no beginning or end, and her memory on Earth is erased, so no one knows who Madoka is anymore. She's crossed over onto a higher plane, her physical form is gone, and she's now just a concept. She no longer exists in this universe. So, a god.
Yeah.
Homura is also now floating in space. In this void thing. It's a very pretty void. You know, it's like rainbow and cloudy and not the worst place to be. But Homura is devastated that everything Madoka has done has led to this. So she's done all this good. She's saved all these girls. She's saved the universe. But now she doesn't exist. And no one's going to know that all the good that she's done because no one remembers her.
She's a true martyr, really. A true saviour. Like, she's done all of this, but without any ulterior motive and needing any recognition for it.
Madoka appears with her and tells Homura she can see everything, all timelines, all universes, etc. And she has seen what Homura has done for her and how much she has cared for her. So Homura has not done everything in vain because Madoka can now see everything that Homura has done to lead her to the person she is today was for Madoka. And if it wasn't for Homura, they wouldn't be at this point. So Homura has kind of saved the universe, and ergo, she's kind of saved Madoka because Madoka is now happy doing what she's doing. Because all she's ever wanted to do is help people, and
Yeah.
That's what she's done. She's helped the universe. She's helped every single
Yeah.
living creature,
She wanted to be important, and now she's like probably the most important like being in existence. So she's at peace with her decisions.
Madoka said that this had to happen so she could see what an amazing friend Homura is. Nice, but I don't think that's why. I don't think
Yes,
that's the cat.
but it's magical girl cliche. When it comes down to it, it's all about those bonds, and it's like, yes, I saved you. The universe also got saved, but the fact that our bond is still alive is the most important thing.
Homura is worried of what will now happen to Madoka as she can't go home and she can't see her family and friends. And, you know, as far as Homura is concerned, she's lonely. She's all alone in this world now. But Madoka is okay with this as she will always be everywhere. So she's never going to really be alone because she is time and space. You know?
Yeah.
She's everywhere all the time, as she said.
Basically a celestial being, and a celestial being doesn't have a corporeal form and doesn't have like the same kind of conceptual structure as like how a normal person would think. So what Homura thinks is like, you'll be alone. It's like, no, I'll be everywhere, and my thoughts and feelings will be everything, and everyone's thoughts and feelings will be part of me. You can't really be lonely like that.
Because they did the instrumentality project.
Yes, basically that. So if it went a bit better, you know.
This is the way it should have happened.
Yes, you know.
Evangelion, Gendo needs to watch Madoka and go, oh, that's how I should be doing.
Yes, and instead of choosing like really depressed 14-year-olds with tragic backstories, pick ones with happy homes that when they decide to remake the universe, they'll go, I will sacrifice myself and become a god like you want, and I'll make everyone happy and everything okay.
Yeah, this is just the happy version of you. It really is.
I know. It's not until you've watched them back to back you realise, like, wow, did not realise they were this similar.
Homura doesn't want to lose Madoka, but Madoka has faith that she will still remember her. And just to solidify that, she gives her one of the ribbons from her hair so that even if she does forget, she's got that thing. Although if you do forget, you'd be like, what's this about?
Yeah.
But no, she keeps the ribbon. Madoka
Also,
floats away. Oh,
with the ribbon, I mean, I'm only like theorising this, but in Japanese mythology, there's something called the red string of fate, and that people who are destined to be together and destined to be connected are tied together between their fingers, normally their pinky fingers, by a red string of fate that will eventually lead you to that other person you are destined to meet. So I always took the red ribbon as like a little bit of a sign of that's the ribbon of fate. They're tied together, those two. They'll find each other again.
Sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Madoka floats away from hysterical Homura, because Homura's not ready for this, and she goes off to help others in despair. So she's going off to do her job. Back on Earth, we are in a theatre to watch Kyosuke at a violin audition. As he plays, Madoka and Sayaka are actually in the audience. Madoka apologizes to Sayaka, saying that she would like to have saved her. However, if she had, this future of Kyosuke doing what he should be doing wouldn't exist because Sayaka would never have become a magical girl to make that wish.
Yeah.
So if they want that future to play out, Sayaka had to die. Sayaka is happy just hearing Kyosuke play again. Like she'd rather he had his dream than she survived. So again, she's kind of selfless in that way. She's happy that she made that wish ultimately because her friend is now happy.
It's kind of bittersweet. She lost her life for someone else that might never know what she did for them.
Well, she said something else is bothering her, but it's okay because it's Hitomi. So it's the fact that she made this wish for this boy who she wanted to be with, but she never got to be with him. But now her good friend can be with him and they can make each other happy.
Yeah. So
that's not, she's made two people's lives better from her wish. And she says, Hitomi's too good for Kyosuke anyway. So, lucky Kyosuke.
I do feel bad for Hitomi because she loses two best friends and might be suddenly like, wait a minute, I'm sure I had friends.
Well, she's a popular girl, so I'm sure she's got many friends. Obviously, they're her two close friends, but meh. But, well, she's lost one, really, because no one remembers Madoka.
Yeah.
So she's lost one friend. Madoka and Sayaka disappear, and we see Kyosuke is now playing in front of a large audience, a huge auditorium. So he's got to where he should be. Sayaka's sacrifice wasn't in vain. He got to where she wanted him to be. I mean, it'd be a real bummer if you know you end up with a homeless person with two missing hands and
Yeah,
never
that wouldn't have been a good rewrite of Destiny, really.
No, so we're happy that she got something out of it, at least. Cut to the timeline where Sayaka was a witch and Mami was still alive. Sayaka's witch disappears and Homura explains that due to the law of cycle, it has to be this way. So, of course, Mami and Kyoko have no clue what Homura is talking about because they haven't lived what Homura has just lived through. And Kyoko is annoyed that Sayaka is gone. She was like, oh, we could have been friends. We were so close. So that relationship was still going on. Mami says that they knew their fate going into being a magical girl, which I don't understand because they didn't.
No, because this is one of the rewrites. So they now go into it having read the fine print.
Okay, but they're still turning into witches at this point. Just because Sayaka disappears, in this timeline there is still witches.
I thought they were fighting those other things.
No, not right now, because at this point, they were fighting Sayaka and then Sayaka just disappears.
Yeah.
And that's when they're like, well, what happened to Sayaka? And then...
yeah, okay. Yeah,
and then
so they're still fighting witches.
So they're still fighting witches, but they're disappearing. They're not beating them, they are disappearing.
Yes, because they're slowly being erased from...
Yes, so the fact that Mami says that they know this going into it is like, right, so do they know that they're witches now? Or do they just know that they don't end in a good place? Or I don't know. But yeah, something happened in the timeline. She says that hope turns to despair, leaving no choice but to vanish. So I'm guessing this is the timeline where witches just disappear.
Yes, so if you turn into a witch, you just, you blink out.
Yeah, because Madoka's got to them, but they don't know that. They just think that they just go poof. Homura is holding Madoka's ribbon, and she still remembers Madoka, which is good. We're glad she still remembers her. And she says Madoka's name, but the other two girls don't know who Madoka is. They're like, what's a Madoka? So we now know that Madoka has been erased from the world. Outside, Madoka's little brother is drawing Madoka as a magical girl in the dirt with a stick. It's really cute. Homura sees this and joins him. And the little boy is like, Madoka! And Homura praises him on his drawing, saying, yes, he looks just like her. He notices the ribbon in her hair, and he goes to grab it, but then Dad comes running up, going, no, we don't do that. We don't grab people's hair.
Yeah.
Dad.
It's like, well done, Dad. You don't go around letting your children pull other people's hair. That's kind of like, some good parenting. They're such a cute little family.
Yeah, cute. And then Mum joins them, and the little kids go, Madoka, Madoka, Madoka. And Homura asks the brother if it's Madoka that he's drawing. And the Mum's like, huh? So later on that day, and we know it's later because it's sunset, so they've been out all day, Homura is sat with Mum, and Mum concludes that this is an invisible friend that her son has made up. And Homura agrees.
I had one of those too.
Yes. Mum says that she recognises the name, but she doesn't know from where. So, yes, Madoka has officially been erased. Parents don't know who she is. Friends don't know who she is. She is just this concept and an energy that exists in Homura's world because only Homura knows who she is. Mum says she loves the ribbon that Homura has and that if she had a daughter, she would give it to her, which she did at the very first episode. At night, Homura and Kyubey are talking about a system that could work. So you have to kind of get to the end of the conversation to realize what they're talking about. But basically, Homura is telling Kyubey about the other timeline of how witches were from magical girls and they created the energy to save the universe that Kyubey incubated.
Yep.
But Kyubey doesn't know that in this timeline. So he's like, oh, it's a very interesting concept that you're telling me. So he's very interested. Of course, he doesn't understand the emotional impact
of this particular system and
yes,
the moralisticness of it.
But she does Homura does have a tainted soul gem. So at this point we're like, there's no witches, but she's still tainted. So how did that work? We do find out.
Yeah.
But at this point we're like, and she's taking little bits of the whatever it is and just throws them at Kyubey and he nom.
Yeah, or the little cubes of curses. It's like, oh look.
Yes.
It's like tiny ice cubes, but curse cubes. It's like, go curse cubes, curse cubes.
the thing that made me just like, oh, Kyubey. Because in this world, obviously, Kyubey's not as evil because he's not turning girls into witches. So they did this thing where he eats the curse or whatever it is, and then he shakes his head really cute, and his ears start twitching. It's like, oh, Kyubey, you little cutie.
You're not so bad. Yeah, because Homura says it's like, oh, yes, we used to have a much more rocky relationship. Yeah. And also Kyubey was saying it's like, oh, if that was the system, then I would have had a very different approach to you girls to the one I have now.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when she says, well, we didn't have the best of relationships, Kyubey. Also, he said that with the witch system, it would be much quicker to get the energy that they needed because, as we've seen, the little cubes of curse, they're tiny. So obviously it takes a bit longer to get those. Kyubey says it's really impossible to understand human values. So it's like, well, I don't understand why the witch system wouldn't work because it's much quicker and I get to where I want to be much quicker. But you humans think it's a bad thing because more people are dying? I don't quite understand. So, yes, Kyubey still, But I think because they now know Kyubey, it's like they can tolerate him a little bit more.
Yeah.
They understand why he's so cold and, not cold, just emotionless.
Yeah, exactly. And also, they fine print. Homura now knows to be like, okay, make sure I'm getting the fine print out of this creature and like, yeah.
Yeah, and also she's there to warn other girls of how it actually goes down rather than, well, in this new world, how it would go down. So there is no lies or anything anymore. Not even just trickery.
Yeah.
Homura throws the rest of the energy at Kyubey. She says, though there's no witches, there are still curses in this world. They've just changed their form and attack from the shadows. And they are called, I've written it down, but I can't find it. You tell me.
Oh, the miasma.
No, it's not miasma.
They're just curses. They're called curses.
No, they're called something else. The weir, I think they're called. Wraiths.
Oh, yes, wraiths. Yeah.
They're called wraiths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, because the wraiths are slightly pixelated. I
wrote down they look like monks on a crime show where they're pixelated.
But actually, when you see Mami, Sayaka, and when Kyoko disappears, you see pixels. So I think they were fighting wraiths at that point. Because I swear you see pixels in an earlier scene before this.
Maybe.
Because they come out of a maze and it's all pixelated.
Maybe it's the start of the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're called wraiths now. And we don't know what they're made from. We don't know what they are. They're just curses on this world. That's all we know about them.
Well, they're the embodiment of humanity's anger and stress and unhappiness and negativity. So instead of them collecting, teenage girl angst and turning them into witches because of all their tragedy, it's just the general tragedy of mankind and anyone who's feeling negative and because remember how right at the beginning the witch caused people to have suicide attempts and stuff because it was feeding on their negative energy. Now instead of a witch preying upon that, the negative energy just turns into wraiths that wander around going, ooh, we're negative. And that's what magical girls fight now.
With Kyubey, Homura goes off to fight the wraiths, and it's because of Madoka that she will never forget and never stop fighting. And her weapon is now a bow and arrow, just like Madoka. Da, 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 da. Now, I was watching the end. I was like, oh, that's at the end. But then I noticed that there's still 2 minutes 30 on the clock. And I was like, no credits take 2 minutes 30. I best wait.
Yes.
So I waited.
I'm glad.
I did. I waited. And there was, in fact, another end piece. So after the credits are seen, we have Homura, who stood in a vast field of empty. Again, it looks apocalyptic. And then there's some words on the screen, and the words say, don't forget, always, somewhere, someone is fighting for you. As long as you remember her, you will not be alone. And that's lovely.
That's lovely.
So Homura is walking towards a bunch of wraiths, and she grows enormous energy wings. They're huge, and they've got all clocks and flowers inside. And
yes. So what's interesting about this is when she jumps down to fight the wraiths in the post-credit scene, she has these big pink wings. But this time, her wings grow, and they're full of imagery from witch labyrinths.
So you'd think that this might lead on to the...
Well, I think that's all the negative energy from the curses is being taken on by her somehow.
Well, she jumps into action and everything explodes into black.
Yep.
And that's the end.
Well, it has that. You see that like she's got all the strings of destiny towards her. So this is why it's one of my theories that she turns into a witch. But the last thing you hear is Madoka going, "Don't worry, you can do this."
Yeah. So it kind of alludes to more could happen. It's not an end. It's a to be continued type of end. So if they wanted to pick it up again, they could, which they have, which I'm glad about. And I'm hoping that, because you reckon that one of the films is just a retelling of the entire series.
Yes.
Okay, well, I hope that one of the other films is a continuation of this one. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Not just like a completely new magical girl set of girls.
Yeah, no, there's a spin-off that does that just came out, but I haven't watched it yet. It leaves you with like, okay, so there's destinies at play still, and somehow Homura and Madoka will reunite once she's finished this massive Wraith battle.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I liked the series. It was a nice change from the last thing that we watched. It was nice to have an ending that I actually felt okay with.
Yes.
Even though not all answers were answered, it was still a satisfactory, okay, I don't have to have these answered, because it's a kind of, you know, this world is continuing without us sort of thing. So
no, and then it's, again, and you can kind of just like so many theories about what happens at the end and everything. I still think somehow Homura's, because she's all tainted with labyrinthy, so when she fights this, she contains so much energy, she turns into Wanderlust or whatever it's called, and because of her time magic, the witch goes back in time to 2 weeks ago, because that's got some concept of things happening down. So when Madoka says, "Don't worry, you've got this," she knows she'll defeat the things to turn into a witch, that Madoka will then stop, and then the two of them can be magical corporeal energy beams together in the ether.
But also the witch's feet is cogs.
Yeah.
And that alludes to time. And also the beginning bit where I said it was the pretty rainbow thing, I'm pretty sure it was a clock on it, like a rainbow clock.
Yeah.
So that would allude to time travel as well. So I think that you're onto something.
Yes.
I think that this could be a huge possibility, but we won't know until we watch the film.
Yes. I'm sure we hope answers them. If not, hopefully. I'll be like, oh well, I'm just going to go with my ending.
You know that each girl has their soul gem on them.
Yes.
So they have their little Fabergé egg, and then they also have a gem that's on them.
When they transform, it turns into a blob on them, yeah.
Yes. What would you have your soul gem look like? Like, we've got Homura, who has a diamond. We've got Kyoko, who's got like an oval shape. Can't quite remember what Sayaka has.
Sayaka has, but there are certain kind of, it's a blue seed. But I can't, it's from Japanese mythology, the shape of it, but I can't remember. It's also from an anime called Blue Seed, in which they have the blue seed thing.
That's convenient.
Yeah. But
so what would your shape be?
I don't know. I'm not really into like gems, and I don't know what my shape is.
Mine would be a cat shape, obviously.
Yes.
I'd have a paw print, a little paw print.
You would have a paw print for definite. It's the same like when you're trying, like because I always design my characters and everything. When I was trying to think about like what my cutie mark could be if I was a My Little Pony, I think probably a butterfly. But then Fluttershy already has butterflies, but it would be a slightly less cute butterfly. It'd be like purple spiky butterfly. Tentafly, my Tentafly, which is my butterfly with tentacles. That's a bit too extreme for a gem though. So it would just be like. It's like I could do a butterfly. I mean, I'm covered in butterfly tattoos, so
you just blend in.
Yeah, exactly.
So butterfly and a paw print.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Social media.
Yay! Is that mine just going to come in on butterflies?
We've done butterflies before, I'm sure we have. Yeah, we have. Flutter, flutter.
Oh, yes, yeah, and then the sheep ate it, and it was all a bit weird. I need something a bit more dramatic, but I feel like I went a bit dramatic last episode of a parade, and I want to give you something moving. Have we done magical girl transformations?
I don't think
Well, it's the last episode, so I'm coming in on my magical girl transformation, which is just me. I come in, I look normal, I do some magical, woo, it's okay, we'll be friends forever, and then I'm in a beautiful dress.
You're so pretty. Look how pretty you are.
I'm a magical girl. Woo! I'll basically be like, in my head, it'll be what I wore on my wedding, since I went down the aisle as magical girl stuff. So I'll be like, here's me in my clamp designed wedding dress that I got.
Oh, in that case, I'll come in as a magical girl. And here's me and magical transformation. Probably just me at a convention in my cat gear. Just exactly the same.
Yeah. Hey, that's Tokyo Mew Mew style. Like, hey! We all look beautiful. And then one day we will wear these costumes and have a tea party.
Yay!
Excuse to put my wedding dress on for a tea party. God, there's so many layers to that thing.
Hey, you have the dress. You might as well reuse it.
Yes.
Who says that wedding dress has to be for one day?
Exactly.
Too much effort went into that dress.
And considering it's an actual cosplay, I can wear it out to like events. Well, if there's ever events again, or just tea parties in my garden.
Yes, why not? Absolutely.
Amazing.
Okay. Say goodbye, Lizzie.
So from a weeaboo, it's Janae.
I'm from a newbie. It's almost the end. Not quite, but almost.